welcome in Fresh Edition on a Tuesday evening of the Fresh Takes podcast of Russo and Felice. I am Paul Russo. Across from me, as always, the man, the myth, the legend himself, even though what I'm going to dub the not very much so Nick Felice podcast of the year. Nick Felice. Nick, how you doing? You look exquisitely dapper over there today. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, Paul, I do like your hat you're wearing. Nice hat.
Thank you. You were with me when you were kind of with me.
But is it really the evening? It's 9 o'clock. It's the night.
It is the evening.
It's the night. The evening.
Technically the evening.
The evening goes from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Once it's past 8 o'clock, it's the night. And once it's past midnight, it's the middle of the night.
I don't know.
It's the night. But
I think that's late night after you get past midnight. Nothing good happens after midnight, but you know.
Anyway, thanks for setting up this podcast. I'm just coming in from Dundee, watching a couple girls basketball.
The Dundee Bradford fighting.
I told you, Paul.
Brave Scots.
Brave
Scots. Thank you.
Get it right.
My bad.
I think it was last week. I told you, watch out for this team. Undefeated, 2-0 in league play.
They defeated HAC, right?
Yep, they beat undefeated HAC tonight, 52-37, in front of a packed gym in Dundee.
Well, hopefully some people who turn in live here are also watching our webcast of Wayne hosting Newark and the boys' side. Ted Baker and Jim Sacroper are on the call there, and they got to witness Wayne have pretty much their way with Newark.
Yeah, you know, Ontario, not a bad little town. I don't know if it's Bradford, but
were you in Dundee or were you in Bradford? Because I know they split the schedule.
I was in Dundee, but I have been to Bradford for a softball game.
That's like an extra 15 or so minutes down the road.
Yeah, it's down there.
Yeah.
It's like down near Watkins Glen.
Because I think isn't Bradford technically like a Section 4 school in other sports or something? I don't know, but
I'm not sure.
They're definitely down. They're a ways down that way.
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure where Dundee and Bradford, maybe, not sure where the connection came from, but the Brave Scots are on a roll.
Anyway, what I mean by it's not very much so a Nick Felice podcast. Well, two topics Nick will be very much intrigued by, obviously, will be the NFL. Not very intrigued by the bowl games, but he always has something to offer me about the bowl games, at the very least. Mm-hmm. Masked Singer finales tomorrow night, season 6 finale, so we'll discuss the final matchup and our thoughts on that. And then, look, normally we get our motorsports usually begins and ends with NASCAR for the most part. Maybe a little IndyCar every now and then. Usually the only time we mention Formula One, Nick, is like Memorial Day weekend when we have breakfast in Monaco, lunch at Indy, and then dinner in Charlotte. But boy howdy, did they have themselves a championship race to remember this past Sunday, to the point that non-racing fans were in on it. I mean, I watched, like I usually do, the F1 race, and we'll save most of the thoughts for that. But even you didn't watch any of the race, but you did see tweets about it at the very least, which is probably something you're not very fully used to outside of me probably retweeting stuff.
Yes. Baseball is still in its lockout, in case you're wondering.
Yep. Not surprised.
And that's it.
Yeah. We got anything really opening to discuss? Did you? By the way, did you end up going downtown at all for the race or the festival this past weekend?
I did not. I was out of town, but it did look like the old days,
Certainly was. I think it was definitely cool because before coming over here at Finger Lakes Month full time, obviously my past life in the Parks and Rec side of things, I was not used to seeing it from the magnitude really of being outside of like the rec center, because obviously kind of hosting the run that they do and everything like that. And so when I got down here to help film the run and everything like that, I went downtown for a few minutes first. I mean, it's quite the event. It really is. It was super cool to see though, the people kind of getting back. Hopefully next year, or really whenever at this point we get a good grasp on truly controlling the virus, even though we probably not going to, but
Yeah.
it was cool. It certainly gives you the nice little hometown boost pride. And
Did you? I did. I drove by on Sunday. The train. Did you happen to see the train?
I did not see the train. No, I was watching football because I had electricity.
Yeah, I was. That's another good thing that I was out of town because I would have lost my mind on Saturday night.
I didn't realize
without any power.
So at least to you and people listening and watching, the winds that came through on that storm front were just insane. I mean, across the area, whether you were in Seneca County, which oddly enough was one of the few counties that didn't have a wind warning of any sort. Usually Seneca Falls has more or less 4 main grids of electricity and
I love
power.
that you know that.
It's one of the things I really wish I didn't know. And usually the one that you're on is the one that stays up. It's the what I call the east side extension. It kind of goes to the lake and that type of deal. What is it now? Northeast.
Yeah, where the East Bear Street.
Northeast College of Health and Sciences. That area. And you guys were the ones who lost power for the better part of a day. During that, so that is obviously unfortunate. Obviously, same storm that caused all the damage and loss in Kentucky. They did that, but I know. Shout out to Kyle Evans, one of our listeners, our main sports guru here at Finger Lakes One, as I call him. He lost power for over a day. Missed his beloved Bills, which we'll discuss that a little bit. But so
wow,
absolutely crazy throughout the area. But we actually were out on the run before we kind of get into it. I do enjoy these like opening segments we kind of do now, where we just kind of chat a little bit. But me and Jim got very lucky filming. We did not get anything damaged or anything like that. But so I was up here on Cayuga Street, and if you know anything about Seneca Falls, you obviously know where Cayuga Street is. But if you don't, it's one of the main thoroughfares through Seneca Falls. And,
is it that one?
Yes, it is. It is this one right outside.
I know Stage Street.
Yes,
that's where I go to the dentist.
Right. And so I'm filming on Cayuga Street. I'm underneath a tree enough that I will not be the first one to feel any rain or anything like that coming in. I hear one of the runners say, explicitive language, and I'm like, what's he talking about? And all of a sudden, just sideways. It was quick here in rain-wise, it was very quick here in Seneca Falls. Probably only really 5 to 10 minutes, but it was hard and quick. But the wind certainly sufficed and stayed for the better part of the evening. So, crazy times.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, you ready to jump full in?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I know you've been ready.
Yeah, it was a good, great Bills game.
Yeah. Well, you gotta give a lot of props to Josh Allen here. We'll start obviously with the Bills game. I think that's really kind of like the main storyline in the NFL this week for the most part on the field.
ESPN disagrees because I think they said Cowboys Washington.
Yeah, well, locally speaking, and the NFL this week was a rough, especially the early window was rough games for the most part. The only thing this week in my mind that did anything was it made the playoff picture even more tighter. Again, goes back to my theory that I don't know who really is the favorite at this point and in either side. The Bills, their problems that I called at the beginning of the year are really showing themselves. But Josh Allen on a bum ankle and foot has over 400 yards total offense. I mean, leads the Bills back to get to overtime, only for Brady to get his 33rd career win against Buffalo.
Wow.
33-3 is the record that I've been told in his head-to-head matchups against the Bills.
That's crazy. I remember one of them, one of the losses.
It's crazy. This Bills team, and I kind of go back to this a little bit, and I'm intrigued on your thoughts on this as well. We set such high expectations for the Bills. I figured they would take a step back to a degree I didn't think it would be this step back. But Josh Allen's the only one offensively performing at this point. I mean, he just is. And it's kind of put him in situations where he's kind of forced into doing like the rookie errors that he was doing the first couple of years of his career. I think, look, if I'm a Bills fan, I would be disappointed here. I think you do have a justifiable reason to be disappointed in this team this year. Going back to like what I said, I definitely picked them. I picked them for second in the division, making it in through a wild card. I thought Miami was going to be better, and they just aren't. But I didn't think the Bills would be like this. I thought to a degree they would have their run game figured out a little bit better, and they just haven't. Their problems on the line, both offensively and defensively, have shown their head, have come to the surface now for sure. To me, anyway, and I know we mentioned a little bit on the podcast, I think this is starting to show signs, though, that what you need to do now is for sure build off of this year. Hey, this is how you need to prepare now going forward. There are going to be expectations on this team still next year. They're too talented to not be a perennial team in the AFC at this point. Like they just are. I think an offense that's led by a quarterback like Josh Allen, you have an offensive weapon at wide receiver like a Stephon Diggs, clearly a tight end in Dawson Knox, who probably isn't going to be Gronk or Kelsey, but certainly probably that second tier, say like a Mark Andrews type, the way it's projecting. And then on defense, your secondary and linebacking play have been good. I think the linebackers could be a little bit better, but that'd be very picky at this point. But your secondary is very good. It all comes down to the trenches game for the Bills. Like I think they got to, and look, this is going to be the draft to do it. This is not a superstar-laden draft. It just isn't. You are going to have obviously some talent in there that is that, right? I mean, I'm not dumb to the fact that, I'm trying to think of guys off the top of my head, and I'm drawing a blank just because of the fact I'm putting myself on the spot like that, but, I mean, you're going to be able to get linemen in this draft. You're going to be able, in my mind, and this is the thing that I think people kind of forget in the NFL at this point. You don't need – you do need the running back. But you don't need a guy to be Derrick Henry. You don't need a guy to be Jonathan Taylor in essence of build or anything like that. But what you do need is that bell cow that is there 2 of the 3 downs theoretically that you're on the field on offense. And trust in that guy. And unfortunately, with the Bills, I think they've kind of ruined what they have running back-wise at this point. I mean, maybe Breida you still have for next year, but a guy like Singletary, I think he's going to need a change of scenery at this point. Nothing, in my mind, nothing that he's done. It's just the way that they've used him. I mean, you can't trust a... if you can't trust a player, if what I'm saying, then they're deeds. I mean, look at what happened last week with Breida. I mean, he fumbled the ball, he didn't see the field again for a while. And if you're a player, that is the worst feeling in the world, no matter what the sport is, whether football, basketball, baseball, lacrosse. It just, if your coach doesn't have faith in you, like, that's a big confidence, and it doesn't matter from amateur to pro. So, yeah, I mean, I think at this point, if you're the Bills, and look, you still have your route to the playoff is still very much so there. I mean, you're still in the picture. At worst, you're in the hunt, depending upon what side of the glass you want to be on. And to be honest with you, they're a team, if once again in the playoffs, I don't want any part of. Like, they just aren't. I mean, if you give Josh Allen the light of day to go out there and be Josh Allen, I want no part of it. No, thank you. But I think at this point, if you're the front office, if you're being, you got to start building for next year. Start getting the blocks in place to make sure this year doesn't happen, to build off of it. And At this point, I think you do kind of wonder what the deal is with Dable, but I don't think you just can him right now. I think that would cause more rift than it needs to be within the organization, within the locker room.
Well, here's the problem with the Bills, is that they are not the best team in the AFC.
Well, right.
And this has been an AFC since, last 2 decades. We know who the best team in the AFC is. We knew it was Tom Brady and the Patriots for a very long time. And now I think it's turned to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And we've seen a lot of teams.
But I wouldn't even say the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC this year.
I think they're starting to play like it. Defensively, starting to come around. You're
basing it off of like a 1-game sample size. I'll allow you to continue, but
Thank you. It's my show too.
not this week.
And it's always been, in the AFC, it's been a race for this who's going to lose in the AFC Championship game. I mean, we've seen, even back in the day, Peyton did get to the Super Bowl a couple times because he was just great, and randomly Joe Flacco one year. But, so it's really been Brady or Mahomes since we've known the AFC. We've seen, Andrew Luck's Colts lost in the AFC championship game because of deflated balls, but never got back to it. We saw the Jaguars make the AFC championship game. Never got back to it. We saw the Titans make the AFC Championship game. Never got back to it. We saw the Bills do it last year. And now I'm starting to think they might not get back to it. It's just, you only it's a small window. You can be talented like the Bills. But what the Packers are doing to get multiple chances at the NFC Championship game, even though they keep losing them, is rare. Maybe last year was the Bills' chance, and they ran into Patrick Mahomes. Not saying they can't do it this year, but I think the Chiefs got it. I'm still high on the Patriots because of Bill Belichick and that defense. But in my opinion, it's still Packers in the NFC, but wouldn't be surprised if the Bucs did it because they're just loaded. And for me, it's the Chiefs in the AFC, but I wouldn't be surprised if New England wins the AFC. I don't see where the Bills are. The Bills are now, I think, they've fallen. They might not even make the playoffs. The Browns are playing better. The Ravens are playing good. The Titans. The Ravens got to get Lamar back. How serious is that injury?
Lamar? I think they're hopeful.
Okay. I
think they didn't overreact, but they weren't going to rush him back that game.
The Titans have been, hanging around even after Henry. Dolphins are playing better. It's going to be tight. There's only 7 spots. Mm-hmm. In the NFC, that's a lot. Maybe too many. In the AFC, I wish the NFC would give up a couple of those spots and give them to the AFC because there's some teams in the AFC deserve these spots, and these NFC teams, you don't deserve it. But we saw the Bears make it last year. We saw the Bears make it last year, and they played the Nickelodeon Bowl.
Hey, Buffalo has Mitch Trubisky.
Yes, who is the only Nickelodeon MVP.
MVP.
Is that on his Wikipedia page? Can we confirm?
I'll take a look. You talk about whatever football you want to talk about quick, and I will take a look.
Bills fans, I'm not your voice of savior, but I think the best you can do is the AFC Championship game because I don't think you can get past Patrick Mahomes, and I don't think you get past Bill Belichick.
Mitch Trubisky from Mentor, Ohio.
Prove me wrong, but I don't know. The Bills, they just don't have a running game. They're not seeming to win these big games. So I don't know if they're ready for it. And Brady owns you. And I'm still talking.
All right, well, it's okay. I have answers. Unfortunately, on the Wikipedia page, on the sidebar, does not have him as the Nickelodeon valuable player.
Does
MVP,
not.
But it is within his Wikipedia bio that he is a MVP.
MVP. Not a lot of people can say that.
I will take a look at his Pro Football Reference page. Anyway.
Yeah, he's going to be good. I mean, I mean, he's no Jacob Fromm or that white guy that
Jacob
played
Fromm,
for
hey,
the Jets.
He's going to be your starting quarterback.
Yeah,
Possibly. Is Glennon okay?
Glennon's the man.
The rubberneck.
Yeah.
Oh.
Got to talk about this Washington Cowboys game, though.
Do we have to? Admittedly.
Did you think they were going to come back?
No, well, okay. Full disclosure at that point, like I was knocked out pretty good Sunday for a while. Tired. I got the booster shot Saturday morning. Sunday took me out for a little bit there, but and all week on Fox they were promoting it as the 1 p.m. national game, and 1 p.m. came around, and guess what wasn't on Fox in Central New York? That's right.
What game was on?
It was not. It was some made-for-TV movie.
Oh.
So, look, the
Wow.
problems with Washington, the same problems I thought. I mean, Heineke had a game where he shows that he is a backup for a reason. It was a nice comeback. I mean, wide receivers need to be a little bit better. Defense played when they needed to play. Hey, look, I mean, and everything that we need help with showed in that situation. It is what it is.
Rams. Did they shock you yesterday?
Yes and no. Certainly more on the yes side. I mean, but this was a team also that we all kind of pinned to win the West.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, they finally had probably their best collective game offensively in about a month and a half. Defensively, they pretty much contained Kyler for the most. I mean, obviously Kyler had his moments, but I mean, they contained Cardinals' offense pretty well.
Cardinals have fallen, I think, to the 3 seed. Has your opinion of them changed?
No, because I still don't know who the hell is the best team in the NFC. Just like I don't know who really the hell is the best team in the AFC.
You know who the best is.
You're right. I do know who the best is.
You just won't say it.
The Detroit Lions.
Yeah, obviously. It's Green Bay.
I thought would be playing a little bit better than they did, but Denver had other plans.
It's Green Bay.
Yeah.
You agree.
Wait, what?
It's Green Bay.
No.
This is the best team in the NFC. You don't agree.
No.
You think Tampa Bay?
Probably. If I have to single one, probably Tampa Bay. Just like in the AFC, if I have to single one,
Brady doesn't go back to back very much.
Honestly, if you're gonna pin me on 1-1, I'm probably gonna pick Tampa Bay and Baltimore still. But I don't know. That could change next week.
I will not believe in Baltimore because of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, we've been over that.
Lamar Jackson, I don't think he can pass the second round.
What?
I don't think he can get to the AFC Championship. No.
Oh my God.
Especially the AFC's tight.
They're all tight. Both are tight. I don't think we've seen a football season like this. Like, this is wild.
Yeah, the NFC is tight where...
Don't say the AFC teams at the bottom are inherently better because they aren't.
They're better.
No, they aren't. If they are, it's not by much. It's probably, if anything, very marginal.
The Dolphins are better than the Eagles. They're about the same spot. I don't know if they're the same spot, but they're about the same.
I mean, I think if push came to shove, yeah, in that case, sure. But, like, I don't...
Chargers are better than the Niners.
That situation, yeah. I'll give you that one.
Raiders are
No.
better than Washington.
No, they aren't. In fact, in that one, we do have a head-to-head matchup that we can go back to and say, in fact, Washington is better than Las Vegas. But speaking of the Chargers, Nick, they open up Week 15. Thursday night, they host the Chiefs. Who do you got?
I got the Chiefs in this one. I think the defense is playing so well. Yep, they're gonna win this division.
Yeah, I think Chiefs Nation's gonna roll pretty good into LA, obviously. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Chiefs. We do have our first of the Saturday games this week. The first one at 4:30. The Raiders go to Cleveland.
Shout out. Early shout out, I guess. It's good to have these Saturday games back, but Enjoyed that Navy win over Army last week.
Thank you.
Even though I'm an Army guy. But
Yeah.
How
about them midshipmen?
I'm going Raiders in this game.
Okay, so I want to take the Browns, but they are one of the teams going through one of the biggest COVID sweeps going on in any team right now in pro sports. I'm intrigued to see what happens with this game. I don't think it's in jeopardy of being postponed / forfeited yet. I think at this point it'd have to be a forfeit, right? If you're Cleveland, I could be wrong. If I knew, man, see, this is the tough deal with this. Way to foreshadow things at the beginning of this, Nick. Yeah, I'm gonna go Raiders here, but I feel like it's a completely different story if I knew those linemen would be back for the game for the Browns.
Maybe Saturday football will turn into Wednesday football.
Right. No. God, no. The other Saturday game at 8:20, Patriots at the Colts.
I'm going Colts at this one. At home.
We're in agreement on this one.
I think Jonathan Taylor, 2 touchdowns maybe?
Yeah, I'm with you here. I think this is probably going to be really the best defense the Pats have seen collectively all year. Obviously, certain situations where each team has stepped up, like even the Bills, last week played really good, and they are a good defense. But this Indianapolis defense is pretty much running top 5 metrics across the board. If not, they're top 10. I think their worst one's something like in the pass game, and that's like mid-level. So, and then you have the X factor in Jonathan Taylor. All right, Sunday games, 1 o'clock. Tennessee at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's good to good to be back at the full schedule. No more buys. This is the first week without buys in a while. This one I'm going Pittsburgh.
I'm going Tennessee. Okay.
While you wear that hat, you're gonna go Tennessee while you wear that hat.
Well, this is the Pirates, not the Steelers.
We're all together.
Oh, really?
We count every championship together.
Sure. Does that include the Pitt Panthers?
Sure.
You're just saying that to go along with it right now. I know what you're.
What kind of championships do they have anyway?
They have a football championship from the 80s.
They're good at ping pong.
That's something that you would be in on. Don't mock that.
That is right. That is true. Ping pong is my favorite sport.
Yeah, give me Tennessee. I think they're just a better team overall. Washington at Philly.
Big game.
Big game for both teams.
Yes.
Is it a must-win or gotta have it?
Yeah, gotta have it because there's a couple spots there. That you can still get.
I'm with you. Definitely gotta
have it. I'm going Washington because Heineke continues to prove you right, but then to prove you wrong.
Exactly. So that's why I'm taking the Eagles here. Okay, I'm taking.
He just proved you right.
Hey, no, he proved me wrong because I did take Washington last week, riding that high. So I'm taking the Eagles.
Interesting.
Hey, nice bounce back opportunity here for the Bills as they host the Panthers at 1 o'clock.
It's gonna be a big game. Going Bills.
Going Bills as well. Texans at the Jaguars.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going Houston.
At the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Why, Paul? You gotta go with the home team.
Oh, do I?
A lot of pressure.
I'm not taking anything Urban Meyer.
A lot of pressure on Urban Meyer lately.
A lot of pressure. He did it to himself.
I think he's gonna come to play. Probably still won't give James Robinson the ball, but Trevor Lawrence is better than that Mills guy. So, going Jaguars at home.
Cowboys at the G-Men.
This is the big game. You got Troy Aikman and Joe Buck on the call. I don't know, but
you want me to do it first? I'll do it. I'm throwing caution to the wind. Give me the G-Men.
I will never take the Cowboys over the Giants. Ever.
That's right, Nick.
Ever.
That's right.
I'm taking the Giants.
Yeah. Jets at Dolphins.
Jets at Dolphins. This is an AFC East.
I'm going the Fish.
Classic.
I'm going the Fish.
Fins up.
Yep.
Jets are done.
Cardinals at Detroit.
Going Detroit. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm going Cardinals with a bounce back win.
Sorry, there's a lot of sirens outside. I don't know what's going on.
Let them do their thing, man.
It caught me off guard.
Let us do our thing.
I apologize. Cardinals.
Good pick.
Yes, thank you. We enter the witching hour. Okay, not really. 4 o'clock, the late window. Bengals at the Broncos.
Bengals at the Broncos. The Bengals lost a tough one. And they're going to go to the Mile High City and get a bounce back win.
See, I really want to take the Bengals here, but I just don't know. I'm gonna say the theory that none of us want to say, but I think the Broncos got a little bit of the Demaryius Thomas, the good vibes going after some unfortunate passing going on. I'm gonna go with the Broncos here. Keep up the good play and.
What's the Reds versus the Rockies all-time record?
I have no idea. Falcons at the 49ers.
Falcons at the 49ers. You're going to have to text me to remind me this one's on TV.
Actually, I won't.
I'm going to go 49ers just because the Falcons they're in the middle of the playoff race, but they're terrible.
Both of them are, yeah.
They're both terrible.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm going to go 49ers here because they're less terrible.
Jimmy G.
4:25 window, Packers at the Ravens.
This is a big game. This got to be the game of the week.
I'd say in theory.
This is an intriguing game. Packers, Aaron Rodgers taking on Lamar. I'm going Lamar. I think he's going to show up. Not taking him in the playoffs, but I am taking him on Sunday. I like him at home. Justin Tucker is going to hit a 88-yard game-winning field goal.
No. I am going to Ravens, though. I wouldn't say any of that's going to happen.
Okay, 55-yard. 55-yard game-winning field goal.
Better. Seahawks at the Rams.
Going Rams.
I have as well. I'm going the Rams. Sunday Night Football, Saints at the Buccaneers. Bucs look to get revenge.
Taysom Hill.
Exactly, enough said. Buccaneers.
He's the reason I missed the fantasy playoffs.
Oh, my God.
So I'm going Buccaneers.
And then Monday Night Football. Vikings at the Bears.
Oh, my. I'm going Bears. I'm at home on Monday Night Football.
All right.
Who are you going with?
Vikings. All right, Nick. We'll do this, quickly for you here. College football. Let's go bowling. College football edition. Bowl Mania starts this weekend. Very excited.
Whoa. Is Go Bowling sponsoring us now?
No. And plus this is Let's Go Bowling.
Okay. Just checking you out. Not trying to get a suit here.
I will always freely plug anyway a place that
Go Bowling
that assists in one of my favorite places on earth, Watkins Glen International, and their existence. So yeah, if Go Bowling were to want to come on board, I would say sure, why not?
Is Watkins Glen International your favorite place on earth?
It's up there. It's one of my favorite places.
Does it beat your home toilet? Because that is a great place.
Does it beat my home toilet?
There's no more of a safer place than your home toilet.
Yeah, Watkins Glen is better than a toilet of any kind.
I'm just saying, there's something about your home bathroom. It's so comfortable.
All right. Anyway, college bowls they begin this weekend, Friday at noon. Nick, can you guess what the first bowl is?
Yep, the Idaho Potato Bowl.
You're wrong.
It is BYU and Arkansas.
You are loud wrong, my friend. It is the Bahamas Bowl. Middle Tennessee and Toledo.
What's the line?
So I don't know about the line. That was on the other page. I just went to my Bowl Mania picks that were just the flat picks of who I think will outright win.
I can't believe Army's favored.
Do you have any thoughts on the Bulls before I go? Or
Yes, I have a couple thoughts.
Go ahead.
my favorite bowl, other than the college football playoff, and I've said this before, I love that the college football playoff's on New Year's Eve. It should be on New Year's Eve every year. I don't care how it lines up with the calendar. It should be on New Year's Eve every year. Anyway, my favorite bowl outside the college football playoff is the Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve. Always a classic. Hawaii's always in it. And then the Pinstripe Bowl, because every time Syracuse gets 6 wins, they're in that. And other bowls. Do like the Rose Bowl.
The granddaddy of them all.
Sometimes it is the college football semifinal. Yeah, and, can't believe Army's favorite over Missouri.
Would you like to make the picks with me as I go through who I think will win the bowls for this weekend? All right, cool. Happy that you're on board with this, Nick. So anyway, like I said, the Bahamas Bowl, noon on Friday, Middle Tennessee at Toledo. I'm going Toledo here. Got to go with my beloved Maction. But the Rockets, they've played well all year. A little bit of they were part of the MAC West where every team was bowl eligible. So they tended to beat up on each other. That means a lot of parity out in the West for the MAC this year. It means they actually probably the best pool of talent that they've had out in the West for a number of years. Usually the East tends to have more of the talent collectively overall. But this year in the MAC kind of shifted to the West this year. So I'm going to go Toledo out of the MAC. Middle Tennessee, very good team. They're part of the CUSA. I believe they're staying there next year before going to the Sun Belt. I could be wrong. But part of that conference alignment situation with them. But, yeah, I'm going Toledo.
I wish I was at the Bahamas. I'm going to go Toledo as well because Middle Tennessee is a better basketball school, so I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to say Toledo is definitely a better football school.
So the next bowl Friday at 6 p.m., Northern Illinois, another MAC West school. They're facing off against Coastal Carolina, the Sun Belt in the Cure Bowl. I'm going Coastal here. I think their talent's just way too good. Kind of a weird end of the year for them. Just the way everything kind of broke down. App State had the tiebreak over them to represent the de facto East Division of the Sun Belt in the conference championship game against Louisiana. But Coastal's been tough all year. They are part of the Fun Belt, obviously, so we have a Fun Belt versus Maction matchup here. But like I said, Northern Illinois, Rocky Lombardi, quarterback for them, Michigan State transfer in. He's had a very solid year for the Huskies. That should be actually a really fun game, I think. But I'm going to go Coastal when a push comes to shove.
Don't know a lot about the other team. I know a little bit about Coastal, so I'm going Coastal.
All right, Saturday at 11 a.m., another Sun Belt versus a CUSA here, the Boca Raton Bowl, Western Kentucky out of the CUSA. They will be facing off against App State of the Sun Belt. Again, record-wise here wouldn't indicate it, but this is actually a fairly solid, even matchup. 8-5 for the Hilltoppers versus the Mountaineers at 10-3. And going App State here, I think it's a little bit a bigger matchup in terms of probably how we'll be separated out. App State, hungry, tough loss in the Sun Belt title game to Louisiana, but App State has been extremely good all year. Hilltoppers, pretty much a heartbreaking loss in the CUSA title game to UTSA. Just kind of the way everything kind of shook out in the fourth quarter for them down the stretch. But yeah, App State here, another Fun Belt team getting the win.
The only thing I know about Appalachian State is that kickoff, that block kick against Michigan.
Yep.
The only thing I know about Western Kentucky is Ty Rogers, former basketball player for the school, hitting a game winner over Drake. But that is a basketball memory, so I'm going to go with the football memory and go with App State.
All right. So the Celebration Bowl, this is a very unique bowl. It does not feature FBS teams, but two FCS teams, both from historically black colleges and universities. This is honestly a very cool bowl. It showcases usually two of the best from two of the historically black college and university conferences, being the SWAC and MEAC. this year is South Carolina State at 6-5 against Jackson State at 11-1. This is going to be Jackson State all day. This is the Deion Sanders team. Deion Sanders got the Coach of the Year in the FCS, the Robinson Award. His son got the FCS Freshman of the Year award. That is a very, very good Jackson State team. Would be intrigued to see how well they would do against in a hypothetical situation against a group of 5 team. But obviously we don't get that. But this is a very cool and unique bowl. If you're able to watch it, I recommend that you do. But yeah, I think this one's pretty straightforward. I had Jackson State in this one all day.
Can't go against prime time. Going Jacksonville. Was it Jackson State?
Jackson State. All right, back to the FBS Bowls. New Mexico Bowl, UTEP. Coming on in, part of the Sicko Committee, the Miners at 7-5 in the CUSA. They'll be taking on Mountain West Fresno State. Fresno State got lost in the shuffle of the Mountain West this year. 9-3 record, very good. They didn't lose many games against the spread all year. Very good run game. Look, this is a team that has in the past few years produced pro-level talent. Whether superstar level or not, doesn't really matter. They tend to get some guys into the pros. I am going with Fresno State here. They really are in this situation. It's the better team. Nothing against UTEP. UTEP has been a struggling program, admittedly, the past decade. They just have. But this is a very good building block year for them. Again, they will be a part. They're staying in the CUSA, but they will probably end up being a team that gets lost in the shuffle here via conference realignment the next couple of years. So this is the type of year that they did need going forward.
This should be called the Nick Felice Bowl.
Okay.
And here's why.
I'm listening.
Back in week 0,
Sure.
I won a $400 college football parlay. UTEP and Fresno State were on that parlay. And I'm going to go with UTEP because
I did forget that this is a rematch, technically.
Well, they didn't play against each other. They were both separate parlays at week 0.
I thought they did play. Maybe. Oh, no. Never mind. I'm getting my years confused. My apologies.
Anyway, the parlay came down to UTEP late night. They were playing someone I can't remember, but they were both, like you said, both terrible teams coming into week 0. They got me the win. Mm-hmm. So I'm going UTEP. Loyal.
All right, we'll try and burn through the rest of these as quick as we can. We're kind of running up against a little bit of time to get to the other stuff, so I'll ease off my college football analysis as much as I love it. The Independence Bowl, this features what will probably end up being an unfortunate lopsided win because just through no issue of their own. BYU is in this game. They committed to this game back in October, one of the earliest bowl agreements ever. But BYU is a team that, in theory, probably should be playing a New Year's Six game. They will be playing, obviously, BYU is independent. They will be facing UAB of the CUSA. UAB, since coming back to the FBS after disbanding the program 5 years ago, in their 4 years back, they have made a bowl 3 of the 4. This is a very good program, and this part that I do feel bad for them with. They should be playing somebody from the Mountain West or the Sun Belt or the American in this game. It just so happened that BYU at the time committed to this game, and it is what it is.
UAB, BYU?
Yep.
No BYU.
Acronyms all day. All right, Lending Tree Bowl. This is another MAC West team in here with Eastern Michigan at 7-5 against Independent Liberty at 7-5. Mostly everybody's kind of leaning Liberty. I am going to go Eastern Michigan though here. Again, the MAC West just talent-wise is there, and Liberty left a lot on the table this year.
Syracuse beat them.
Syracuse did beat them. This Liberty team had a lot of people had kind of pinned to be to a degree what BYU ended up kind of being this year, UTSA really, and they just never performed there. I'm going to go with the Eagles of Eastern Michigan.
Going Liberty.
All right. The Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl.
The what?
Yep. Mountain West Utah State against Pac-12 member Oregon State. Utah State winners of the Mountain West Conference this year. snuck up on everybody. I think a lot of people slept on the Aggies just not knowing what they were or what they had. They had a very nice bounce back year this year. I'm going with Utah State over Oregon State.
Going Oregon State.
Saturday, the New Orleans Bowl, your Sun Belt winner, Raging Cajuns of Louisiana, take on Marshall out of the CUSA. 7-5 Marshall versus 12-1 Louisiana. Again, Louisiana's going to smoke the Thundering Herd here, I think. This is a very good Thundering Herd team, though. A lot of returners from last year. They should be returning a lot of people next year. So this Thundering Herd program should be progressing along. Again, after they are much like a team like UTEP here, where they needed this year, and it was a nice progression where they have been overall the past decade compared. They had a couple bowl appearances here and there, but this is a very good program that is headed to the Sun Belt here. This was the exact type of year that they needed to get to a bowl game and continue building the process along to join the ranks within the Sun Belt to contend right away.
Go Marshall.
All right.
I like that movie.
Some historical inaccuracies, but yes, it is a solid one. All right, Monday, the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Old Dominion out of the CUSA against Tulsa out of the American. 6-6 versus 6-6. Toss-up game. Tulsa disappointed on the year this year. Old Dominion, kind of about where I think a lot of people expect them to be. I think a lot of people might have thought that they overachieved this year. I am going Old Dominion, though. I think this is a toss-up game, though. I know a lot of people are taking Tulsa, so I'm going to go ODU, though.
Hate to disagree with you, Paul, again. But Old Dominion beat Notre Dame in the basketball tournament, the NCAA tournament back in 2010, and I still haven't gotten over that. So I'm going with Tulsa.
Here's your favorite bowl, Nick, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl on Tuesday. Kent State out of the MAC versus Wyoming out of the Mountain West. Kent State out of the MAC East. This year, I am going with the Golden Flashes over Wyoming. Wyoming, vastly underperforming team at the end of the year. Struggled to cover, struggled to win at the end of the year.
The Golden Flashes.
Yep.
I'm going with you.
All right.
Kent State.
And then the last bowl game that will be going on before we come back on the airwaves is also another Tuesday game, the Frisco Bowl, UTSA against San Diego State. I am going UTSA here. I believe the Roadrunners punch above their weight here a little bit. San Diego State left a lot to be desired at the end of the year. Dropped 2 of the last 3, including the championship game last week that they had. So give me the Roadrunners over the Aztecs. Meep.
I'm going UTSA, too. Solid year. Just didn't beat North Texas.
Good to see you with me here, Nick. Love to see it. All right. Masked Singer Season 6 finale tomorrow night.
Oh, spoiler timer.
Yep, spoiler alert. Give you everybody here about 5 seconds to break away. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Our final, the Bull versus the Queen of Hearts. 2 very, very, very good singers. You talk about a really interesting year of characters that they had. I know we've talked obviously outside of the podcast, Nick. I think this season kind of jumped the shark for the Masked Singer to a degree. They had a very interesting group of characters to the point that, for instance, you had everybody at one point from Honey Boo Boo and Mama June in a beach ball together, to Rob Schneider, who was surprisingly really good and I thought probably should have lasted longer than he did.
Larry the
Cable Guy, who I thought was British. Up till last week, you had David Foster and Catherine McPhee as Banana Split. Faith Evans was Skunk.
I enjoyed the
Johnny Rotten, by the way, of Johnny Rotten, 70s punk rocker.
Yeah, that's the guy.
I
like that guy.
He was a midway out guy. It was nice to see him, though. I honestly thought he was dead. So, the season's kind of been everywhere. I don't know what your thoughts are really on it, Nick, but I'll give the floor to you.
Well, I remember your brother Pat saying that this was probably a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was going to be Bull and Queen of Hearts in the finals.
Yeah.
And here we are. I'll say my predictions in a little bit here, but disappointed by Banana Split. I thought Banana, if you're watching the show, the split or the ice cream, she was singing the whole time, and I thought the band, I was like, this could be some special singer, and it could be someone big. And I was
Are you saying Catherine McPhee ain't special?
No, I'm talking about the banana.
Oh.
She's good. I'm talking about the banana. I thought he's saving it for, something big. I was like, this banana is going to be the only way to knock off the Bull, because the Bull is the front runner. Turned out it wasn't.
I really thought Banana Split was going to be John Krasinski and Emily Blunt for a minute.
That would have been cool. But, it wasn't. And he was just a producer and also love interest or lover.
Lover.
But, so, definitely disappointing. Queen of Hearts is good, though. Queen of Hearts has gotten better. Didn't think of her as a favorite like I did Bull at the original beginning. But she's gotten good. She's gotten better and better each week. And that's why I think it is Christina Aguilera.
Okay.
Is the queen of
the sad part is I have heard people guess, so I know what you're trying to do, but people do think it actually might be her.
I think it is.
I don't know who the Queen of Hearts is. So with that in mind, I'm going to lean that she does not win. I'm going with the Bull to win. And
Bulls win.
Look, I've had an inkling about this, about the Bull. I know my guess for Bull isn't right, but I really want to be Donald Faison.
How confident are you?
Not very. I'm really leaning on like one clue in particular. So I'm going to go Donald Faison.
I think it's Childish Gambino.
Not a bad guess. That's not a bad guess. I think it's Donald Glover. Not a bad guess.
I think just the way he's moving, it's a younger guy. And, I don't know. I think the Bull wins it. I'm still unsure how the scoring works. Been watching the show for 6 seasons. I'm still unsure how the scoring works, but
they're going to need to figure out some.
They're going
to need to figure out some panel stuff going into next year.
Always do twists each year.
Yep.
The duets was awesome. I like that.
Yeah, it was all right.
I really like the duets.
Michael Bolton, I feel bad. I think something's up with Michael Bolton, and like that, I feel bad. He did not look well on stage.
Anyway, I don't like that there's 2 groups for the whole thing. I don't like that.
You want to go back to where it's kind of like one group?
Yeah, it's groups at the beginning, and then they come together.
Okay.
Like a Super 6 or the Super 9, whatever they did. That's what I like.
Yeah, they need to. There's a lot I think they need to look at going into next season. I think they have to kind of shake up the Judge panel a little bit here.
So who do you think's the really?
Yeah,
you keep saying that. I think that will ruin the show if they switch it up.
I mean, Jenny's shtick is just wearing.
We know
off.
You're not a big Jenny fan.
Well, she's just a dumbass and an awful individual.
But her and Ken.
No.
Who wins the Golden Ear?
Ken. I'm going Ken.
I'm going Robin steals it.
Okay, fair enough. Speaking of stealing,
who do you think's
go ahead.
Who do you think's the Queen of Hearts? You can't just.
I don't. I have no idea. Like I don't. Gwen Stefani.
Okay.
I think they told them that it literally was not Gwen Stefani 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Speaking of stealing,
yes, the F1 race. Wrap it up quick here with this like a couple minute discussion. Nick, did you see any of it? You didn't see any of it, right? But you saw the Twitter.
I look like a guy that saw some.
Yes, you seem like a big wake up at 7:30 to watch cars go around. Anyway, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Dun, 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 dun.
Lewis Hamilton, Max, and the FIA. It was an absolute chaotic race at the end there. Look, I've been watching racing my whole life. I don't think I've ever seen an ending quite like that where. They were making rules up and fly. Obviously, they followed the rule book. They followed the rule book.
Not to interrupt, but we had some great Mario Kart finishes in our time.
Not what I'm talking about here. But that being said, Michael Massey, the race director for the FIA, and the FIA has kind of made a mess at the end of the year here. I mean, Lewis and Max both deserve the championship. Whoever won it. But the fact that they did not allow the lap cars through, all of them to go through, and just only the ones between Lewis and Max, that's a rough taste in the mouth. Kind of a late decision to get the safety car off the track. It's a tough look. It is. what's unfortunate about it, it's now overshadowed what was a really great race. Probably overall, you had a lot of great racing. Really amongst the top three in that race being Lewis, Max, and Sergio Perez at one point, as well as great runs got overshadowed at the end. I mean, Carlos Sainz ended up coming on and getting third and getting a podium spot at the very end. Yuki Tsunoda finishes a rookie year on a strong note, coming in fourth. Pierre Gasly in fifth. I mean, it ended up being an overshadowing event for what was a great end of the race, and it'll be interesting to kind of see how this offseason progresses, how it shifts, because there is a new car next year for F1 to base off of. F1, they all look very similar. But obviously each manufacturer have some aero things you can do and stuff like that. But new car, new wheelbase as well. They're going from 13-inch wheelbase to a 18-inch wheelbase, which big change with that. But yeah, I'm intrigued. Congrats to Max for winning the title. First non-Mercedes title in the turbo hybrid era. That's since 2014. But Mercedes, they get the Constructors' Championship for Best Manufacturer/Team on the year. Yeah, chaotic. Good news is, America, we got 2 Grand Prix next year. Although, personally speaking, I would, if you're up here in the Northeast, go to Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix in June. I love Montreal. It's a great track to race on online, but that's a different discussion. Anyway. Anything, Nick, for the F1 race?
Lewis is the GOAT.
Okay.
But, even LeBron loses sometimes. So.
All right. That takes us to the end of the show this week. Appreciate everybody for tuning in and listening, whether it's live or after the fact. Nick, who are you shouting out this week?
Yeah, I'm shouting out Ted Baker.
Oh, my man.
Yeah, I've never met him personally, but he's doing a great job for FL1. He's announced 2 games now?
Yep.
Yeah, he's just, I told you this before the show off air. This man, it's great that he's here and he does great things for us in this area. But that man could go big, man. He should be calling some of the greatest games in this country. That's how good he is. And he's got a legendary voice, very distinctive voice, which is a good thing. And he's definitely the voice of Geneva, but he's fantastic. The voice of this area.
He's the voice. He is the voice of the region now.
He's not going to be the voice of FL1. That is clearly Paul Russo.
That's not me. I'd rather it not be me. I have nothing. I have like the face for radio. That's like about it.
All that did is move Paul to the D crew now. Me and Paul are the D crew. Let's face it.
That's not. I mean, there's something wrong with a little Pash Walton action.
Exactly. That is the D crew. But shout out Ted.
Coming to a game near you, me and Nick eat candles and cupcakes.
We will. Shout out Ted. Keep up the good work.
All right. Thanks, Nick. As for whatever reason, there we go. Now it worked. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. All the fun stuff help us. Fair Lakes 1 out. We'll catch everybody here next week. Fresh takes, Russo and Felice.